Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Tuesday. I hope all is well and you're getting used to life without Arsenal, because we're going to have to go through a little bit of that now. I think we're about, 2 weeks and 2 days away from Arsenal's next game when they play Wolves. All a little bit quiet now in terms of the actual football front, but obviously lots going on in and around football when it comes to transfers, with the transfer window drawing to a close. We have, 6 days remaining of the transfer window, and speculation is rife, deals happening all around the place, but at Arsenal not too much going on at the moment. But the big man, the big name who has been linked constantly in the build-up to this transfer window and throughout this transfer window, Dusan Vlahovic, he is on the move, it seems, but not to Arsenal. So a lot of you are going to be disappointed about that. I'm sure you've seen the news now. He's closing in on that move to Juventus that he's always dreamed about, really. And I think it's about 65 million, something like that. Heading over there, 4.5-year contract set to be signed for him. It's been a weird one, this whole saga for me. It's kind of been a saga. It's been a saga that's been played out on social media. Widely, certainly amongst the Arsenal fan base. We know how much the Arsenal fan base loves transfers. And Vlahovic has been the name that everyone's been talking about, and has been just links and stories shared from various places around the world. And unfortunately, those people who sort of bought into it all and really wanted it to happen have been left disappointed with the news that he is going elsewhere. It's been a weird one to report on for me, because I've always been told, and it's no great surprise to me that this isn't happening, because I've always been told that it wasn't, Arsenal weren't really, considering themselves serious contenders for Vlahovic. I mean, obviously there's been interest, and initially when this all sort of first started breaking, I was told that Arsenal didn't even have an interest in him. But I mean, clearly there has been interest. You don't get the sort of level of reports that there have been from that if there wasn't interest. But people that I've spoken to about it throughout have always maintained that it didn't look like one that was likely to happen. So it's the way I've been able to report it, really. So this doesn't massively surprise me. I think Arsenal were probably well aware of the kind of where Vlahovic wanted to go, where his agent wanted to go. I mean, we hear all these reports that the agent didn't even pick up the phone to Arsenal. I mean, I don't know if that's true whatsoever. So, but that's been what's reported elsewhere. I just can't imagine that's true. I mean, that would just seem madness to me. I mean, you'd at least pick up the phone and listen to what's on offer, wouldn't you? I mean, this is Arsenal. At the end of the day, it's a very big club offering, who would be willing to offer big money, I imagine. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it's always been pretty clear that Vlahovic's main ambition was probably to stay in Italy and go Juventus, if he was going to move at all in January. And so it doesn't really surprise me that it's panned out like this, and I know a lot of you are going to be disappointed. I've already seen that a lot of you are disappointed. I've seen the reaction on social media to the news last night when it started to break that he was going to Juventus. I mean, it's not completed yet, but I've been speaking to Romeo Agreste over there, the Juventus correspondent at Goal, and he's been bang on this for the last sort of 24 hours or so, and he tells me that Juve are very, very confident this one's pretty much all done and dusted now, and that he will be a Juventus player. So that's going to be one striker sort of ticked off the list for Arsenal, or crossed off the list. Actually, I shouldn't say ticked, crossed off the list for Arsenal. And now it just remains to be seen, what can they do between now and the end of the window. Now, as I've said, people that I've spoken to at Arsenal have never been convinced this one's really been a goer. So I'd be stunned if they've thrown all their eggs in the Vlahovic basket, like a lot of people trying to acting like it's the case. I don't think Edu has wasted 3 weeks pinning all his hopes on Dusan Vlahovic. Far from it, because that's just not what I've been told at all. And so they would have been working on plenty of other targets as well. And there are other targets there. We've spoken about them before. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a player Arsenal like. Jonathan David, a player Arsenal like. Whether that's something to be done now remains to be seen. Alexxander Isak, the at Sociedad, the Swedish player, a player that Arsenal like. And perhaps crucially, when it comes to him, he has a release clause. And so of all of the potential deals, if you're looking at something just for this month, with 6 days to go from the window, the easiest one to do is that, because there's no need for any negotiation. If you don't want to do that, I mean, Arsenal could try and bring his price down if they really want to get a move done for him in the coming days, rather than have to play the full release clause, which is big money. I think we're talking about 70-odd million, 77 million euros, something like that, to sign him now. That's the release clause. So Arsenal, if they do want to make that move or try and make that move, they could look to negotiate that with Sociedad. But I imagine, given the situation Sociedad are in, would they really want to let him go for cheaper? You would doubt that. So it'd probably be a case if Arsenal do want to sign him, they're going to have to trigger that release clause. We've seen it. They've done it in the past with Thomas Partey. Could they do it now in the next 6 days when it comes to Alexxander Isak? It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I can't actually remember how old he is. Let me just quickly see how old he is. He is 22 years old. So I mean, he absolutely fits the bill when it comes to Arsenal's transfer strategy. He's young. He's extremely talented. We all saw what he did during the Euros. He's got a decent goal scoring record. Not a fantastic one, but a decent one. He's perhaps struggling a little bit this season, probably because he's got no Martin Odegaard behind him. But he's an extremely talented forward who you would think Arsenal could mould going forward into the type of player that they want. He's pretty strong. He's good with the ball. He runs well. Finishing, I don't know, hit and miss, would you say? I mean, I haven't seen enough of him to really sit here and pretend I'm any sort of expert for him, but he is one that certainly fits the bill, and he's attainable. That's the crucial thing. So if Arsenal really want to get it done, they could do it. It's just all about triggering that release clause. It's just money. We know in Spain, paid straight to the La Liga offices. You no need to even negotiate with Sociedad if you don't want to, just like Arsenal did with Thomas Partey when they signed him. So that's going to be the one I think everyone is going to keep an eye on between now and the end of the window. I think the other two, players I've spoken before about, Jonathan David at Lille, that from what I understand, that's just not something that's going to be possible this month. Calvert-Lewin from Everton just looks incredibly difficult given their position in the league. I don't think it'd be a problem with the player, but I think certainly in terms of Everton and the situation they're in, I mean, if they agreed to sell the player to Arsenal, Calvert-Lewin to Arsenal at this stage, I mean, there's already protests going on in the stands at Goodison Park. You can't even imagine what the reaction would be if they did that. So I imagine that's going to be a difficult one to do. So out of them all, Isak certainly looks like the one between now and the window. If Arsenal are going to push the button and go big on a striker, he's probably the most likely of all the options. Let me know what you think with that. I mean, how disappointed are you with the Vlahovic news? Would Isak be the type of player that you want? Is that someone that Arsenal should be going for? Let me know who, what, or if you think you agree. Just let me know in the comments below. Interested to know about that. I mean, I think just the whole what now is a question that a lot of people have been asking since the Vlahovic news came last night. But again, I don't think it's his mass panic stations where, a lot of people seem to be acting like, Arsenal just wasted all their time and now they're stuck with no one with 6 days to go. I just don't think it's like that. Football clubs don't work like that. Recruitment departments don't work like that. It's not a case of just trying to sign one player and forget about everyone else. There's a first target, there's a second target, there's a third target, and everyone's kind of switched on from it. If one person isn't at the table, you move on to the next one and you go like that. So this isn't going to be a case of Arsenal have wasted the last 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is, just putting all their attention on Dusan Vlahovic. And like I said in this video earlier on before and throughout the transfer window, that's not what I've been led to believe anyway when it comes to him. So, I don't think it means him going to Juventus means that Arsenal aren't going to sign someone. I still think it's looking unlikely that Arsenal are going to sign someone, but there's still plenty of time left in this window to do it if they want to do it. And when you've got an option like Isak, who you can just do at the push of a button, then there's always a chance. Look at Thomas Partey. Everyone had kind of given up hope going into that transfer deadline day of Arsenal signing someone, and then bang, midday comes around on that final day, and Arsenal would sort of triggered the button, didn't they? They sort of triggered it all with that release clause, and Arsenal ended the day signing him. So that's far from being over by any means. But let me know what you guys think. What should Arsenal do? Do you think Isak? Do you think Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Do you think Arsenal should wait and just bring Orba back into the fold and get through to the summer and then really have a go? I think the thing with Isak, if you really want him, and you're going to have to probably pay the release clause in the summer anyway, then you may as well just do it now. So if Arsenal have been working really hard behind the scenes on Isak, which you presume they absolutely would have been because they do it with so many, all their targets, it's all analysed and goes through all the scouting departments, everyone's watching everything, they've got all the numbers. So if Arsenal have decided that he is someone who can come in and be the central striker going forward over the next few years, then if it is going to be a case of paying a release clause, which is looking likely, like I said, I can't imagine Sociedad are going to suddenly fold and say, all right, you can have him for half the price. I just can't imagine that, given his age, given his importance to the team, the length of the contract that he only signed last year. That's looking incredibly difficult. I can't imagine that happening. So they're going to have to pay the release clause. So if you're going to have to do that in the summer, and you've decided you're going to go for him, then why not do it in January anyway? So we'll wait and see what happens with that. Interesting that Mikel Arteta is over at the moment in America. I'm sure you've probably seen the videos by now. He's having talks with Stan Kroenke. He was watching, I think, Colorado Avalanche game yesterday with Kroenke. Now, those talks, I'm told, are not sort of centred around any specific one topic. I know, obviously, there's lots of talk about at the moment about Mikel possibly getting a new contract, that sort of thing, and there's been lots of rumours today since that video emerged of the two of them watching the game together. Oh, we must be over there for contract talks. I'm told that's not the case. He's not just gone there to talk about one specific topic. He's gone there because during the pandemic, he's been unable to see the Kroenkes face to face and sit down with them, and he's just using this as an opportunity to go and do that. And yes, if Kroenke wants to offer him a new contract, I'm sure that's probably something that has been discussed while he's over there. The transfer window, I'm sure that is something that's being discussed right now, and Mikel's probably out there saying, please, look, let us do this, because if Arsenal are going to sign Isak, they're going to have to play that release clause in full. That's the way it works in Spain, so that is going to be a massive investment for the club if they are going to do that. You'd think the Kroenkes are probably going to need a little bit of convincing, and we know that Mikel is a very good talker and he's very good at convincing people. So I'm sure that's a topic that's probably gone up as well. Dubai, just everything. That's what the guys are all going to be talking about over there. So I don't think it's just going to be one specific topic of conversation, which is what the reason that Mikel has gone over there. But certainly the timing's interesting, given how close we are to the end of the transfer window. Now, Arsenal head to Dubai on Thursday morning. A lot of the players are already there at the moment. They've been given 3 days off following the Burnley game. I think Bernd Leno's over there, Gabriel Martinelli's over there, Rob Holding's over there already. So plenty of them made the trip early. The rest of the squad who haven't travelled already, they will be flying out on Thursday morning with the coaching staff and a couple of members of the kind of media team. I think one of the video guys and Stuart, the photographer's, going over there as well. They'll spend till next Wednesday there for this sort of warm weather training camp. There's going to be sort of one training session a day. There's going to be a few sponsorship events going on over there. Obviously, Emirates are a big thing, big players in it. And there's also going to be squad bonding exercises, things like that. It's just a good time for them to get away, and it's certainly coming at a good time because the squad looks absolutely shattered. We've seen that. They've been decimated throughout the last month through injuries, COVID, international duty. So it's a good time to get away, sort of rest up before you come back. And then you have those that game against Wolves, not confirmed yet, but it's looking like Arsenal might well be playing Wolves back-to-back after this short little mid-season break. They've got that game that has to be rescheduled. That was just before just after Christmas, wasn't it? The 28th. And from what I understand, that might be squeezed in after the Wolves away game, so it might go Wolves away, then Wolves home, and then the Brentford game, which originally is on Saturday, might end up getting moved to Sunday. I don't know if that's not confirmed yet, but that's what I'm hearing might happen. And I'm sure if that is the case, then that will be confirmed pretty soon. So it could be interesting there. It's almost like a two-legged Premier League game, isn't it? Wolves home and away in the space of a week. Aubameyang not looking like he's going to be going over to Dubai with the rest of the squad. That's no great surprise. I think he's going to stay here, train on his own, and see what happens with his future before the end of the transfer window. Any new signings who do potentially arrive would go out and join the squad if they arrive in time. Matt Turner's the one that's looking the most likely at the moment, the American goalkeeper. From what I understand, that is a deal that's progressing pretty well and could well happen. So we'll wait and see with him, and should he arrive in time, then he will head out to the join the rest of the group, and then potentially that might be Bernd Leno if an offer comes in, heading out, and he'd leave the Dubai camp early. I haven't heard anything's happening with Bernd Leno yet, but you would think if they're going to bring Turner in now that would mean Leno would go, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. All right, everyone, that's about it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. Please do let me know what you thought of any of the topics in this video. Drop your comments below. Always interested to go through to see what you have to say, especially when it comes to transfers, because I know everyone's got an awful lot of opinions about what Arsenal should or shouldn't be doing. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Have a very good rest of the day. I'll speak to you soon.